But yeah, I did not realize there were even sequels to these Bridget Jones movies. I was not paying any attention to them, and I don't think I've ever seen them. So I went into this cold, and I actually had to go to ChatGPT, had to go to Fancy, and say, so explain a few things to me. One, what the hell is the appeal of Bridget Jones? She's like, she's the girl next door, but British. I'm like, okay, I got it. She's like, she's adorkable, I think is the word the kids use these days.
And she is.
She's awkward and dopey and, and highly relatable, I believe is the phrase. The other thing I notice is that, like, the premise of all of these movies, the whole, like, narrative flow is she's unlucky in love. So she starts off wanting love, needing love, looking for love in all the wrong places, and she's all thumbs, and she's got 2 left feet when it comes to love. But by the end of it, it is resolved. She finds true love and, Finn. And then in between that movie and the next movie, it'll all go to pieces, and we hit a hard reset and start all over again. So I had said, well, what happened at the end of the third one? At the end of the third one, she's with the father of her kids, and they're going to have a family, and everything's going to be great. And then in between movies, he dies. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what the fuck with these movies then? So that's that. Before I get into the plot of this thing, Mac, any other words or thoughts about this movie series?
Just on the name of the movie. I mean, I'm sorry, Mad About the Boy, and the boy disappears exactly halfway through the film. We spend the rest of the film with the science teacher. Not since Friday the 13th, the final chapter, has there been a badly named movie of this caliber.
That's a fair criticism. I have to wonder how much different from the book this was, but we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I have the same questions about the life list, but the premise of this thing, I'm not going to read it. It's essentially, she's got 2 kids. She's every modern mom these days. She's single, can't find love, and her kids are driving her nuts. She's at this point, she hasn't been working. She's just a stay-at-home mom, and that is unfulfilling. She is still, in the shadow of widowhood. She does not want to date. It's 4 years later. She's still mourning the loss of her husband. And so she goes to a family event, and she's about sick of everyone giving her condolences and well wishes and whatnot. And she's encouraged by those around her to live again. And by live again, we mean go find penis, lots of it, just all of it, all the penis ever, just a forest full of redwood penises.
I would have given every cent of this movie back if Emma Thompson had walked up to her and gone, "Girl, you need to get dick down." Back. Proclaim this movie.
Emma could do that.
No, Michelle Thomas weighing in. It's too many Bridget Jones movies.
There you go.
They're never too many when they're still making money, and this one did. So, yes. So, So Emma Thomas says, "Girl, you got to get freaky," and so she does. So there's a whole thing with her on Tinder and dating apps and stuff. So there are 2 men, as there always are in these movies, because no woman is complete without 2 men on either side of her. And
I'm not going to hold that against them. I've had the opposite dream.
I can see your aneurysm, Dorian.
Keep breathing, Dorian. Keep breathing.
Dorian's like, I agreed to come here willingly. So anyway, when we have a hot hunky man, and the first part of the movie, or the second, really, the third of the movie is her just like dating him until he says something stupid and then ghosts her. But the other person that she's connected to is her kid's science teacher, and he is a harsh master. He blows a whistle and makes kids nervous, and so nobody likes that.
Does a lot.
Yeah, does a lot of that. And they have disagreements on the nature of life, the universe, and everything, which is a really funny scene, actually. In the absence of the other kid, they end up being drawn to each other, and he says romantic stuff and she says romantic stuff, and then they get together in the end. And I think the guy comes back at some point, the young hunky man.
He does.
Like, yeah. Like, I understand, that you are ready for commitment now, but that train has passed, sir, and I am moving on with somebody who did not hurt my feelings. And so a year later, we're at New Year's, and it's all great. And they are comfortably in a romantic, picturesque relationship together. And that is literally this movie. I'll go to you first, Dorian, so that you can excise the aneurysm I gave you. What did you think of Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy?
Okay, now the aneurysm is that, like, the whole it's not no girl is complete without 2 guys.
Yep, I stand by that, and I'll double down if you keep repeating it.
No, it's fine. No, again, I'm not disagreeing with you going, oh, you fucking idiot. I'm going, oh God, that's too much reality and it hurts.
Hang on. I'm going to give myself, the old, here it is.
Yeah, give yourself the...
Hang on.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
I like that one best.
I deserve that.
It's me.
Yes, you did.
It's always been me, the author of all your pain. But no, so because having been in situations, whether ringside seat or on the mat, where there was another guy coming in and it's this fucking love triangle that's like, dude, we saw Twilight. This didn't end well. Why are we doing this? But anyways, to the movie at hand. I enjoy the Bridget Jones movies. They're fun. They're pretty harmless. They are by the numbers, but one of the things this movie did, and I think a couple other reviews have said it too, because I do go back and if movies have been reviewed before, I try to watch a couple of like my favorites and stuff just to make sure I'm not repeating exactly what they said. But this movie did step away from its romantic comedy roots and take a step in a better direction. I think overall it was fun. It was nice to see the cast back together again. It was kind of like, seeing an old band, get back on stage after it's been, over a decade since they played together. It's like, hey guys, it's been fun. How we doing? That being said,
Drum roll, please.
I have words. Okay. So, Mark and I just finished a triple feature of 80s hard body movies, which included 10. Which is very focused on the older man lusting after the much younger girl. And the point there being that the ideal that you have set up because this woman is so much younger it's not probably going to happen. Just, shut the hell up. This movie pissed me off in one way because the minute our park ranger hunk shows up, I'm like, oh, well, you're toast. Because here's the thing. If an older man is lusting after a younger girl, they'll never get together. It won't happen in Hollywood because they don't like it. Because they're still too touchy about actual realistic moments where older men took advantage of younger girls, mostly actors, but also some crew and behind the scenes, lest they not be forgotten. There is the flip side of that coin of the older woman falls in love with the younger guy, and without fail, he is a moron, he is a party manimal, or he's not ready for commitment, or all of the above.
I was going to say he's Joey from Friends.
Yes, and yes, by the way, for those of you watching, I am taking this personally. It's not to me because it's like I have again with what I do as event photography and videography. I have seen some people in their 50s and their 60s who party so hard, and I'm going to steal from a comedian here, that there are my age people and younger, looking at them going, I have to go home now, Grandpa. No, it's fucking over. Get back here, you pussy. Where are you going? So there is the stigmata. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mrs. Robinson. Yeah. Okay. It's that same exact. Thank you, Miss Thomas. I lean on my learned colleague, Miss Thomas. But it just, I felt that the actor did really well with what he was given. It just, we already knew he was marked for death. I mean, like, not death, but like, and I'm not even going to try to say his name. Baron Mordo.
Yep.
From Doctor Strange. Coetwe, yeah, whatever.
Nope.
In my notes, I have circled literally.
Your name is consonants and vowels, not necessarily in that order.
As Billy Connolly would have said, this motherfucker should have bought a vowel years ago. He did fine, but like we knew that's the one she's gonna end up with. Something funny though, in the realm of like British romantic comedies that come to America. There's part in my head when he showed up, I'm like, dude, is he still his character from Love Actually? And him and Keira Knightley can work out? Like he divorced her and like now he's going after Renee Zellweger. I'm totally cool with that being its own universe.
The British romance universe. I love it.
Right. But it just that kind of upset me. But overall, it was fun. It was fine. Like, I knew it was coming the minute that, like, the way they introduced him, even the way they shot him in his first couple lines, I'm like, oh, you're toast. You know, you're either going to become just an absolute shit, or you're going to do something stupid, and she, you know, and Baron Mordo is going to steal her away. But I'm trying to like condense my notes because we spend a lot of time on that romance list, so I don't go on a whole fucking tear here. Overall, the movie was fine. I was upset that Colin Firth wasn't in it because Colin Firth is one of my favorite. Like, Colin Firth is my boy. There's a joke that me and my friends have of, like, you know, if
he is in it.
Well, he is, but like, he's dead.
Oh, okay.
He's there, and it's
He's
like,
got screen time, Dorian.
I know. Like, even in the trailer, like when I watched the trailer for this, and like there's a moment where he disappears.
Were you upset that he wasn't glowing blue and sitting next to it with fucking Renee Zellweger on a tree stump?
Wait, you know what? I would have taken that.
Well, you see, Renee
From a
Zellweger, from a certain point of view,
my death. But no, I was upset with it. Like, I understand why they took the choice to kill him off, because, like, at the end of the third one, they're married, they're having the kid, we've hit our happily ever after. Well, if you're going to do another one, then you got to go in a different direction. So I get it. It bummed me out because, again, I'm a huge Colin Firth fan. I felt like Hugh Grant's character, Daniel, was like tacked on at the end. Like, they wrote the script and then they went, shit, we didn't put Grant in there. He's got heart problems and he needs to reconnect with his son, and that's kind of a subplot.
So I have thoughts about this. Is my only real thought about this entire movie, but I'm waiting for you and Mac to get your thoughts in because I have some issues with this movie's plot structure.
Yeah,
and I'm going to use the terms. I'm going to use the terms plot structure way loosely.
Very loosely. Thank you.
And actually, this is the next thing up. And since Mark and I are continuing our tried and true comedy streak of he speaks my note before I say it, or like usually right before I say it. I'm not angry. I just think it's funny. The plot structure was all over the place. It felt like several different stories have been started and then jigsawed together.
So that I don't have to do my own thing, I'll just cut in here and piggyback on what you're saying. I was just looking at the production notes for it. This was, I guess, was always meant to be a movie, but this screamed this was supposed to be a series on Peacock, and they were like, nope, rewrite it and make it a movie. So they had to take all 8 episodes that they had plotted out and wrap it into 1 2-hour movie. This doesn't feel cohesive. This feels like this honestly feels a little like I just finished Daredevil Born Again, and that also felt compartmentalized, but that was an actual series. Yeah. So there was chapters, there were storylines that were concluded in a single episode, but an overall arcing narrative that continued. And that was kind of this movie. The overall arcing narrative is she needs to, get past the death of her husband and get back out and, learn to live and love again. But there are little chapters and stories all along the way. There's the hunky man, there's the science teacher, there's Hugh Grant stuff, because we have to do a few episodes with him. Like, it doesn't feel cohesive in any way. It feels compartmentalized.
Absolutely. And eventually Mick will watch this. So here you go, baby. Here's your another one of your shout outs. In the Grey's Anatomy TV show, the lead character's husband dies very horribly. And they take a good season and such to work that out. Even though the whole show, Grey's Anatomy, is very much like every rom-com, basically. And here we go, Mark. Here's our Patton Oswalt shout out. This week, Renee Zellweger and Hugh Grant are gonna try to fuck. Next week, Renee Zellweger and Colin Firth are gonna try to fuck. Will they fuck? Probably. Like, even in Grey's Anatomy,
the producers of and the director of Man
comes. But no, it's like Grey's Anatomy handled this actually better, and that whole show is trying to get 2 people broken up so 2 other people can fuck. I felt this movie again. It was like we talked about plot structures all over the place. It as a closeout, and I hope it's the closeout of this series. I thought the ending worked really well. It's like, it's sensual. They, to their credit, when they jumped 1 year later, I'm like, I swear to God, if her and Baron Mordo at the altar, I am going to. I went full Tony Stark. You throw another moon at me, I am gonna lose it. But no, they were obviously dating, things were moving forward, kind of very sensual ending, like they're gonna, probably have sex and they're gonna try to fuck. But
okay, Dorian, you're up to 9 fucks. I wanted you to keep going.
hey, it's not 1960 British radio, so we're good. So I thought that it ended very well, and this should be the ending of it, of we close the book on this, because honestly, I do not want to go to theaters and watch Bridget Jones 5, Menopausal in Manhattan.
I think he's out of novels. So
Yeah.
we're good.
That's
That
good.
doesn't mean in the age of streaming we're not going to get the Bridget Jones Diary series, the Bridget Jones Diary prequel, the Bridget Jones Diary
Or the
spin-off,
redo, the reboot. Yeah, Bridget Jones starting over.
Of course,
the Pixar adaptation where the diary is its own character, and it's running around and has to play dead when she walks in the room.
Of course, now that I've said Bridget Jones 5, Menopausal in Manhattan, he's like, that's genius. Let's write it down. But
Mac,
just wrapping up my final thought. I enjoyed this movie. If you're a fan of the Bridget Jones series, go see it. It's enjoyable. It's exactly what you're going to be expecting. And as a comfort romance, part of a romance series, it's perfect at that.
I'm going to give you my final thought, and then I'm going to throw it to Mac to conclude before we move on to the life list. I don't hate this movie. I rather liked it. I enjoyed it. I was entertained by it. My problem is I now have to apply critical analysis to it, and it doesn't. And this is what I say about a lot of movies. This is the Ronnie Adams fight that I get into, where Ronnie's like, I enjoyed it. Why do you hate this movie? Because certain movies don't survive criticism. When they are enjoyed from afar, if they were light. If you look up in the sky and you see a light, fluffy cloud, it can be anything you want it to be. It can be, it's like a Rorschach test. You look at the cloud and you go, I see, the gods, and I see cotton candy, and I see love and life, and I'm just amazed by the clouds. Except that if you get up close to it, clouds are ugly. Clouds carry rain. Clouds are not pretty in any way, shape, or form. They don't survive close-up scrutiny. Okay? Film kind of works the same way. When appreciated passively from afar, sure, they're going to be more enjoyed than not. Outside of, the high IP movies that, the studios are bobbling left and right, most studios can competently make movies. I swear they can. They've been doing, for the most part, we'll get to this with the next two movies, especially when the studio just lets people make movies, they're generally made well. The problem is, like I said, when you start to apply, this is why critic scores are always vastly different than audience scores on things like Rotten Tomatoes, and it gets misinterpreted and misunderstood, and that's a whole other conversation. But Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, is perfectly enjoyable passive entertainment. The minute I had to think about it, it fell apart. It was a piece of cloth that unraveled the moment I touched it. Like I said, there were plot structure issues. There were other things that I had some problems with. And I was like, gosh, I don't want to tear this movie apart, but that's kind of the whole point of the podcast, is to look at these movies and analyze them up close. So, it's like you guys talk about like the Shea Doctrine and whatnot. I'm knowing when something is important, but not necessarily liking it. In this case, I like it, but I don't think it's the best well-made movie I've seen. I think it's, I think in terms of enjoyability, it's high, but in terms of quality, it's kind of low. And I'll throw it to you, Mac, for the final word on this and your thoughts.
Well, I couldn't agree more about. I like to think of enjoying movies, enjoying any kind of art, the way we enjoy food. Sometimes what you want is a vanilla ice cream cone. You need that. You want that feeling. You want that vanilla bean or whatever you're getting into. It's not complex. It's not difficult. It has no structure. It's just fluff. That's where I'm seeing with Bridget Jones. Other times you want the complexity of the Star Wars saga, and you want every lace in place. You want it all overlaying each other and sending to the next movie. But Bridget Jones doesn't answer that. I completely agree that the plot structure is messed up, and I'm going to forward a theory. I think they filmed a different movie, and the editors took it apart and put it back together. I offer as evidence Ilsa Fisher. What the hell is she doing in this movie? That's a top-line A-plus actor. They gave her, 20, 30 lines on screen? And she doesn't play a principal role.
Hello, I'm an extra, and my work is done.
Yeah, now, Emma Thompson, she likes doing things like that. She's got this one scene, but it's a pivotal scene. It matters. So you see why she'd want to do that. But they get rid of the boy halfway through. Now I could blame this on the book. I have not read the book, so I don't know. But you get rid of the title boy, the boy that made the title. He's gone, and like Dorian says, we knew he was going to be gone by the way he was presented. And then we bring in all this other stuff. And if you look at this as though it might have been a different movie put together backwards and then resubstituted, it makes a lot more sense. For instance, if Colin Firth is a ghost in the beginning of the movie, the logical thing to do regarding the previous movies is he stays with her through this entire transition, lovingly watching over her. He doesn't. He pretty much goes away after the first 20, 30 minutes. Why was he there to be?
He's supposed to be the exemplified by the white owl that's outside the entire movie. And then
I know, but
what's happening there,
really, I get that, and I think I'm not going to call that a reach. I think that matters. But he should be more present. If we're going to have him at the beginning, he's this memory of this guy she's lost. Now, I get that, but then that device goes away. The rest of her movies, all the rest of her life, they don't appear. There's nothing there. I just think this is ice cream to begin with, but it started out as vanilla ice cream. Somebody wanted to make it to a banana split, and they didn't have the banana.
I have to assume the book delves deeper into what it's like to mourn the love of your life but you still have life to live, and so you have to go through the process of you have to go through the rigmarole of processing your trauma and learning to love and trust again. The problem is, I think the movie kind of points at it, but goes, well, we don't want to upset people, so we're going to lightly touch on that from about 100 yards, but we're not going to delve too deep into it. We're going to more play up her, oh, look at me, I have 2 kids, and it's overwhelming, and I'm a mom, and when she sits there, she's like, I just want a minute apiece. I could see women throwing their panties in the audience. Like, yay, relatable. I know that I've been that woman. I know what it's like to have kids and not have a moment to yourself. They leaned hard into that and not enough into what the whole point of the movie is. It's called Mad About the Boy. I have to imagine in the book, the boy played a more prominent role, like you said, Mac. And I think they cut a lot of that down because you have to get, the transition from Bridget to mourning the loss of her husband and not wanting to, live life. Dude, there's a line in this movie that actually cracked me up hard. And it was like, why is your mom still wearing, why is your granny still wearing pajamas? And for whatever reason, that line tickled me. But the point of the line is the pajamas are representative of her, being stuck in life. She's not living. She's a zombie.